фото Моцарта. Мне людей, уверенных в завтрашнем дне. Рисуй мне портреты погибших на этом пути. Покажи мне того, кто выжил один осколка. Но кто-то должен стать дверью, а кто-то замком, а кто-то ключом от замка. Земля, небо, между землей и небом война. Что бы ты делал, что ты не делал, между землей и небом война. Есть люди, для которых есть день и есть ночь. Где-то есть люди, у которых есть сын и есть дочь. Где-то есть люди, для которых теорема верна. Но кто-то станет стеной, а кто-то плечом, которым дрогнет стена. Земля, небо, между землей и небом война. Что бы ты делал, что бы ты не делал, между землей и небом война. Между землей и небом война. над ночью луна, и сегодня луна каплей крови красный дом стоит, свет горит, из окна видна даль. Это куда жила Пожелай мне удачи, пожелай мне удачи. И есть чем платить, но я не хочу победы любой ценой. Я никому не хочу ставить ногу на грудь. Я хотел бы остаться с тобой, просто остаться с тобой. Но высокая в небе звезда зовет меня в путь. Группа крови на рукаве, мой порядковый номер на рукаве. Пожелай мне удачи мою, пожелай мне не остаться в этой траве, не остаться в этой траве. Пожелай мне удачи, пожелай мне удачи. Требуют наши сердца, требуют наши глаза. В нашем снеге и в наших слезах и пульсации перемен. Чай на столе, это скоморозка. И больше нет ничего, все находится в нас. Требуют наши сердца. Требуют наши глаза. В нашем смехе и в наших слезах и в пульсации град.
Ну что ж, спасибо большое. На этом все это заканчивается. Всего вам доброго. Я думаю, что летом мы запишем новый альбом. Осенью появимся. В смысле, начнем снимать новый фильм, а зимой, я думаю, вы все это увидите. Спасибо большое, что вы все сюда пришли. До свидания. Спасибо.
Future. First, I wish that in the future, no problem, no war. First, and of course, I'm going to make music again, and the future is future, and this kind of music which I will feel it needs in future.
What were you drinking last night?
What?
What were you drinking? Vodka? Whiskey? Ooh, where did you get whiskey? Oh. Interesting. I don't know. Nothing. Your hangover.
Because,
Your head hurts, yeah?
yeah. You know, night is special time for sleeping, not for drinking. So if you break a law, and there is a law, and night is special time for sleeping, you'll be no, still. The usual alcohol abstinence. Boy,
Have you ever written a song?
what?
Do you write your songs sober or when you're drunk?
My what?
Songs. Do you write?
No, never drunk.
Never drunk. So it doesn't help you to be creative.
I don't drink too much. Don't drink so much as you think. Because every time when I met you, that's like party. And always when you see me, I'm drunk. I'm gonna have a cigarette.
Welcome to Crazy Horse Memorial, which honors the North American Indian, all tribes. It's a mountain carving and much more. This is how the non-profit memorial will look when completed, a vast educational and cultural center. It'll include the Indian Museum of North America and the University and Medical Training Center for the North American Indian. The focal point is the mountain, where the face of Crazy Horse was completed and unveiled in 1998. That was on the memorial's 50th anniversary, which included the first blast of the second 50 years of progress. Lakota elders picked Crazy Horse for the mountain carving, and they insisted the memorial be located in the Black Hills. The hills are revered by Native people, such as Olympic champion Billy Mills.
Crazy Horse Memorial, I think, needs to be, it represents two things to me. It represents the integrity of our elders who asked Korshak to build a monument honoring one of our chiefs in our sacred Black Hills. And that is a commitment we should never lose sight of. Just as I will never ever lose the feeling, the sacredness of the Black Hills to me. Our elders made a commitment. They went to Korshak to build a monument honoring our people, our way, our culture, our values. I think the elders were not only correct, I think it was visionary to put a man who I think is sacred, his image is sacred, and to place it in the Black Hills, which is sacred. It's the only place it could have been.
To carve the mountain, the elders picked sculptor Korczak Ziolkowski, whose physical appearance changed along with the mountain. Following his death in 1982, the project's been continued by his wife Ruth and their large family. In 1939, the sculptor's dramatic marble portrait of Paderewski won first prize at the New York World's Fair. That gave Chief Standing Bear and his fellow chiefs the idea to invite Korczak to the Black Hills.
You know, I've been in Auburn since I was a year old. I was born in Boston, and I was brought up an Irish prize fighter. And I always told him when I was 16 I was going to beat, but I was just going to whip him, that's all. When I was 16 I couldn't quite do it, so I left him. I went to work on the waterfront. And I always said I wanted to do something worthwhile with my life. And I wanted to become a sculptor. Then one day when I was 13, I'd read about this man Borglum climbing a mountain. Little thinking that about 16 years later I was going to be working as his assistant on Mount Rushmore. Then I got a letter from this old Indian I'd never met, Standing Bear. And he asked if I'd build a memorial to their people so the white people know the red man had great heroes also. Well, having brought myself up and being American of Polish descent, I thought that wasn't too much to ask for. And I had no place to go, so I decided to dedicate my life doing this.
Korczak felt both the glory and the tragedy of the Native American were reflected in Crazy Horse's short life and death. His sculpture shows Crazy Horse declaring proudly, "My lands are where my dead lie buried."
He was a spiritual leader, he was a warrior. He portrays what I see as a Lakota, a spiritual existence, a spiritual being living a human experience. And that was Crazy Horse. You hear that there are photos of Crazy Horse. No one has any real authenticity of what he looked like. There may be a photo of Crazy Horse, there may not be. What I see in the mountain is the spirituality of indigenous people, the spirituality of the Lakota people. And one person is never greater than the sum. And Crazy Horse represents the sum, I think, of Lakota people, the sum of indigenous people. And the image, the spirit of Crazy Horse, the core, his soul, is what I focus on, not whether a photo is authentic or not. I think it's fair to ask what Crazy Horse might think at the memorial. I think Crazy Horse, because he was a spiritual being, and we all, globally, if we really truly focus on our existence, we're spiritual beings living a human existence. I think Crazy Horse can see the value. We need these human existences to teach as we understand and empower ourselves spiritually. And Crazy Horse is one of the most powerful teaching tools globally to enhance the understanding of Native people worldwide.
Crazy Horse was one of the strategists at the Battle of the Little Big Horn. He never surrendered, never signed a treaty, and refused to live on a reservation. He was stabbed in the back by a soldier while under a flag of truce. Crazy Horse died on September 6, 1877. Korczak was born 31 years later on that same day, September 6th. Many Native Americans consider that an omen he was destined to carve Crazy Horse. The memorial began very humbly. Korczak lived in a tent the first 7 months. Like a pioneer, he cut trees to build a log studio home. There was nothing here, no roads, water, or electricity. When he started work on the 600-foot-high mountain, Korczak was almost 40 and had only $174 left to his name.
So you can imagine how humble I started on the mountain. I started with a single jack. That's a hammer and a steel. And I drilled my holes around 3-4 feet deep and blow them off. Then I bought an old compressor. It was 24 years old, an old Buddha. Weighed around 4 tons. And I put a pipeline 2,440 feet long from the compressor on the ground up to the top of the mountain. And I bought a jackhammer. Now, this took 2 years to get all this done. And then I bought another hammer, and then my steel. Dynamite is rather expensive, and my electric caps. So over the first 7 years, I climbed that 741 steps, and I carried everything up on my back. When I go up, I'd start the big compressor. I used to crank it, you know, and I'd put a 50-pound box of dynamite in one shoulder, and put a wire, a string of bits around my neck. Then I'd take maybe an 8 or 10 or 12, 14-foot steel in my left hand, and that's how I start up the mountain. The old Buddha, the old compressor, was kind of decrepit, and I'd get sometimes quarter of the way up, and I'd just hear that thing go kaput, 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 kaput. Put everything down, walk all the way down the staircase, start it up again, crank her up, wait there 5 minutes, start up the mountain, pick everything up, go up to the top, which is quite a distance, put all my things down, get my air valve cleaned out, oil the hammer, pick it up, get my starter steel in it. Just start to drill one hole, get down about a foot, and you could hear the big Buddha, kaput, kaput, kaput. Down I'd go again. One day I did that 9 times. You know, that gets awful old. Oh, I tell you, that walk up and down there was terrible.
Korczak worked alone for years, but mountain goats kept him company. The goats loved the staircase, and they climbed it right along with Korczak. They've never left in spite of the decades of blasting. The old Buddha symbolized the severe financial hardship, but there also was joy. Korczak married Ruth Ross, and they began their family of 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. Korczak even delivered one of them. There were so many kids in school at one time, they attended their own one-room school at Crazy Horse. They also learned by helping their parents in rather unusual ways.
Well, see now, you see why we had 10 children. They were all, the boys were necessary up on the mountain, and the girls were necessary down here to help Mother with the visitors. That was rather hard work to keep on pounding that dynamite in.
The first blast took off only 10 tons. It was at the June 3rd, 1948 dedication, attended by 5 survivors of the Battle of the Little Big Horn. Comparing then and now shows the dramatic change, with more than 8 million tons of granite blasted off so far. The progress is measured in tons and in decades. The first rock removed was from the area in red, in front of Crazy Horse's face. It took Korczak 5 years working alone. Next, he leveled this area in red above the arm, which will be more than 200 feet long. Cutting the tunnel under the arm was the hardest part. When finished, that huge opening could hold a 10-story building. It took more than a decade to remove this area. It's in front of the horse's head, which will be 219 feet high. Korczak had blocked out much of the sculpture before he died. Since then, his family and others have removed over 1 million more tons. For size perspective, picture Mount Rushmore, where these marvelous heads are 60 feet high. All 4 heads on Rushmore combined would fit in just Crazy Horse's head, which is almost 9 stories tall. This huge bulldozer gives another size perspective. On the other side, one bulldozer did fly off the edge, but the lucky driver leaped to safety, just in the nick of time. Crazy Horse is the largest sculpture in the world, on a scale higher than the Washington Monument or the tallest Egyptian pyramid. Overall, the Crazy Horse Colossus will be 563 feet high and 641 feet long. And the entire mountain is being carved 3-dimensionally in the round. The work on the mountain is done by one of the top explosives engineering teams in the country. They use small jackhammers and big hydraulic drills and a variety of high explosives. One of the finishing tools is a dangerous supersonic torch. Following completion of Crazy Horse's face, work began on the massive horse's head. It'll be 22 stories high. The ears will be 42 feet long, the nostrils more than 30 feet in diameter. All the progress is guided by Korczak's scale models and books of measurements he prepared for that purpose. 18 years younger than her husband, Ruth Shilkovsky has directed the project since Korczak's death. 7 of their sons and daughters work with her in a dynamic team effort. The visiting public also plays a key role because all the revenue for the nonprofit memorial comes from admissions, contributions, and gift sales. Crazy Horse is not a federal or state project because Korczak felt the interested public and not the taxpayers should finance the memorial. He believed so strongly in the free enterprise system, he twice turned down $10 million in potential federal funding. He felt the government would not complete the mountain carving and would not carry out the project's humanitarian goals. Ruth and their family share that philosophy.
The financial philosophy here at Crazy Horse has remained the same over all the years. Korczak believed in individual initiative and private enterprise. He didn't think that you had to stand around with your hand out waiting for the government to finance a project. This project has been financed entirely by people coming in here with their contributions and admissions, and it is not a federal or state project and will not be. We could go faster if we had more money, and it's people like yourselves who make this all possible. It doesn't have to be cash. Our museum, 90% of the items there have been gifts that we can share with others. We have a lot of equipment that has been given to us for the mountain. The explosives on the mountain are quite frequently gifts, and there are a lot of ways that people can help with things other than cash. People often ask when the mountain will be finished, and there is no definite answer, not because we're trying to be difficult, but it depends on the weather, it depends on finances, and Korczak always said it doesn't make any difference when it's finished. The important thing is that you keep on working and that there's always progress. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I love what I do. The magic that was here to start with has only grown, and it's just a wonderful life. Work is one of our greatest blessings. There's no question about it, and I love mine. And having the family together, and 7 of the 10 working with us, is just wonderful. The project at this point, and has been now for many years, is a family dream. The youngsters took up the dream as they were growing up. They have rallied round so well since Korczak passed away, and it's definitely a family project. And each one of the youngsters has a niche that they fill, a job that he or she does, and they can use their individual talents, and it's truly a family project. And it's wonderful to see them taking over so that you know there's continuity into the future.
Dad made it special, Dad and Mom made it special, and it's just that it's a dream, and it's a dream that can become reality. And it's important to be a part of that.
I do see it as something a lot bigger, and I see it as a lot more pressure on us to make sure that it keeps going. You have to work harder to keep it going. It's a lot more work than it was, 5, 6, 7 years ago. After Dad died, there was an awful lot of pressure on us to see if we would, continue on, or if the family would fall apart. I felt those things from people. Everybody had a decision of what I was going to do or what Casimir was going to do. And it wasn't up to any of them, it was up to us to decide what we were going to do. You really had a lot of soul searching and things to do back then.
To me, it's the only job that I want to do for the rest of my life. He left us a letter that he wrote in 1952, and we never saw it until after he died. And he said in that letter that you don't have to do this, but if, after I'm gone, you take up the task of doing it, don't ever let it go.
I think it was born in us, the ones that chose to stay. I don't know about the others, but I'm assuming they feel the same way, that I don't belong anyplace else. I like to go and visit, but I belong here.
Always at the heart of the memorial is Crazy Horse himself. He is a hero to many people, like Olympic gold medalist Billy Mills.
Crazy Horse is my hero for many, many reasons. I'm a member of the tribe, Oglala Lakota. Crazy Horse is Oglala Lakota. And growing up, we'd hear about Crazy Horse. Just the simple fact when he is asked, "Where are your lands now, Crazy Horse?" And he points and says, "My land is where my people lie buried." I've identified with that. The memorial to me represents actually one of our greatest values, one of the greatest traits we can have as Lakota people, and that's storytelling. It represents the past. I look upon myself as a Native person as a spiritual being living a human experience. And the monument, Crazy Horse, represents the past, it represents the present, and it represents the future. It's, as Korshak has said so many times, storytelling in stone. Wherever I travel today, I'm on a college campus back east, I'm in a foreign country, and as we start talking, and as people become aware of me being an Olympic gold medalist, as they become aware of me being a member of the Oglala Lakota tribe, one name comes up, and that's Crazy Horse. And in conjunction with Crazy Horse comes up Korshak, the mountain. It's touched lives not just locally anymore, it's touching lives globally. It's changing and it's educating the future.
My lands are where my dead lie buried. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
I'm a storyteller. I'm a storyteller in stone. And when Standing Bear asked me to tell the story of their great chief who was killed many years ago, I wanted to tell the story of the North American Indian. I want to right a little of the wrong that they did to these people, because this is part of American history. You know, there's an old saying, and I've quoted it 2 or 3 times in my life, and it goes like this: when the legends die, the dreams end. And when the dreams end, there is no more greatness.
Crazy Horse Memorial is much more than the colossal mountain carving now in progress in the legendary Black Hills of South Dakota. Sculptor Korchak Jolkowski's famous scale model for the mountain carving is the focal point of a sprawling visitor complex. It includes several wings of the Indian Museum of North America, the Native American Cultural Center, the sculptor's log studio home and workshop, and much more for the whole family to see and do. Located just 17 miles from Mount Rushmore National Memorial, Crazy Horse is not a federal or state project. An admission fee is the primary source of revenue for the nonprofit Crazy Horse Educational and Cultural Project. The first stop is the beautiful new Orientation and Communication Center. It overlooks the mountain carving. Architecturally, the 40,000 square foot facility is designed to flow from the landscape. Some of the exterior walls are faced with granite blast fragments from the mountain. Visitors enter a spacious lobby with a warm, inviting atmosphere. It's created by the rich pine paneling. That's Black Hills pine, and it's used throughout the visitor complex. The lower level of the Orientation Center is home for a popular education and conference center. It also houses the large Crazy Horse Research Library. A focal point of the lobby is The Promise. It's a 5 by 8 foot oil painting. It shows Lakota Chief Henry Standing Bear and sculptor Korczak Ciolkowski at the 1948 dedication of Crazy Horse Memorial. It was Chief Standing Bear who invited Korczak to the Black Hills. His letter said, "My fellow chiefs and I would like the white man to know the red man has great heroes too." Korczak promised to tell the story in stone and to build a nonprofit educational and cultural memorial. The Indian elders picked Crazy Horse as the subject of the carving. The next stop is one of the twin theaters. They show the popular orientation video, Dynamite and Dreams. Visitors leaving the theater enter the imposing wall of windows gallery with panoramic views of the mountain. A scale model of the horse's head is on display in this area. Visitors can use the model as a reference while studying the work now underway. That involves blocking out the 22-story high horse's head on the mountain nearly a mile away. Dozens of paintings hang in the wall of windows gallery. Included is a large collection of prints by famous Native American artist Woody Crumbo Sr. Like the big painting The Promise in the entrance lobby, another large oil commands the wall of windows gallery. This one shows the sculptor at work high on the mountain carving, carrying out the promise. The works of many other well-known artists also are on display. Another area of the Orientation Center includes extensive displays about the work on the mountain. Dramatic photographs document the progress over the decades. There are hands-on displays of some of the tools used on the mountain. The Orientation Center also houses the new Lakota wing of the Indian Museum of North America. The Lakota wing is the first wing that visitors enter because Crazy Horse was Lakota. A focal point is a full-size teepee, which visitors can enter. It's an example of the portable home of the nomadic Plains Indians. The Indian Museum is designed to complement the story being told in stone on the mountain carving, and to speak eloquently to present and future generations about Native American life. A special exhibit tells about the sun dance, a major part of Lakota spiritual life. Dozens of other exhibits illustrate many aspects of Native life. Crazy Horse Memorial is a tribute to the North American Indian. Its collection includes artifacts and art from many tribes. Most have been donated to the nonprofit project. The cultural and geographic diversity of Native American tribes is illustrated in a large and growing collection of colorful tribal flags. They're displayed throughout the several galleries of the Indian Museum. One of the most popular exhibits is an impressive collection of rugs and pottery. It represents southwestern U.S. tribes. A theme of the museum is that Native American culture is a living culture. It's being practiced every day across North America. The artifacts and art include many contemporary items as well as those from the past. The collection serves as an excellent resource for both Indian and non-Indian students, as well as the general public. The museum's gift shop has a wide selection of Native American arts and crafts. Many tribes are represented. The Crazy Horse Bookshop offers more than 1,500 titles of books and other publications about Native Americans. It's a great resource for teachers. Many visitors also enjoy the Laughing Water restaurant with a spectacular view of the mountain. It and the snack shop are open during the warm weather season. Visitors always can enjoy free coffee. That's a popular Crazy Horse tradition from the earliest days of the project. A spacious outdoor viewing veranda looks out on the mountain in the distance. There are binoculars for close-up views of the ongoing drilling and blasting. Laughing Water Brook flows across the veranda in season, bubbling from a distinctive arrowhead fountain made from blast fragments. During the summer, Native American musicians and dancers often use the veranda for an outdoor stage, with its spectacular backdrop of forest and mountain carving. Visitors often are invited to join the musical festivities. From the veranda, visitors also watch and photograph the frequent blasts on the mountain carving.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
Korchak's famous Crazy Horse 1/34th scale model is on the veranda. It's the most popular photographic stop. The big white model is made from plaster. It weighs 16 tons. It's on wheels, so it can be rolled in and out for weather protection. Korchak's sculptural design is based on the story of a derisive encounter between Crazy Horse and a white trader. He asked Crazy Horse, "Where are your lands now?" Pointing proudly over his horse's head, Crazy Horse replied, "My lands are where my dead lie buried." It's not a lineal likeness because no photo of Crazy Horse has ever been documented. Survivors of the Battle of the Little Bighorn gave the sculptor word pictures of Crazy Horse. Korchak said his sculpture is more a memorial to the spirit of Crazy Horse, to his people, and to all Native Americans. Crazy Horse also was said to wear a stone at his ear. That also is part of Korchak's scale model. The big model shows a poem which Korchak wrote. It'll be carved on the mountain in letters 3 feet high. An oil painting of the future of Crazy Horse shows where the poem will be located. It's a message to posterity, and it reads like this. When the course of history has been told, let these truths here carved be known. Conscience dictates civilizations live, and duty ours to place before the world a chronicle which will long endure. For, like all things under us and beyond, inevitably we must pass into oblivion. This land of refuge to the stranger was ours for countless eons before civilizations majestic and mighty. Our gifts were many, which we shared, and gratitude for them was known. But later, given my oppressed ones, were murder, rape, and sanguine war. Looking east from whence invaders came, greedy usurpers of our heritage. For us, the past is in our hearts, the future never to be fulfilled. To you, I give this granite epic, for your descendants to always know, my lands are where my dead lie buried. Displays in this area include a cast of the face of Crazy Horse from the big scale model. Photo exhibits document the stages of progress on the 9-story high face. The face was dedicated on June 3, 1998, the memorial's 50th anniversary. Visitors are able to contrast the scale model with the granite face of Crazy Horse on the distant mountain. Korchak left detailed plans for the mountain along with his scale models, and as he planned, they're all being used to continue the world's largest sculpture. Next stop is the sculptor's log studio home. Korchak hand-built it in 1948 using pine trees from the property. In a way, it was pioneering, because back then there was nothing at Crazy Horse, only rocks and trees, no roads, water, or electricity. It was so humble, Korczak lived in an army tent his first 7 months at Crazy Horse. For many years, the studio home was the only facility at the memorial. Sculpture was displayed outside on tree stumps. Today, the studio home contains many beautiful works of fine art and an antique collection. Displays include the beautiful 55-piece grandfather's clock Korczak made when he was just 18 years old. His Fighting Stallion sculpture is the popular favorite. The 18-inch original is from African mahogany. This bronze and a smaller cast are on display along with the larger-than-life version. Korczak liked to point out that he also changed along with the mountain. This painting shows him at age 23, very much the portrait of the sculptor as a young man. Across the room is a painting of Korczak 50 years later at age 73, very much the mountain man. There's also a matching portrait of Ruth, a gift from their sons and daughters. More sculpture and displays can be found in an adjacent gallery. Included are Korczak's sculptures as diverse as Wild Bill Hickok, who became a Western legend, and Ray Kroc, who became a Free Enterprise legend. The two-story Native American Cultural Center is made from blast fragments off the mountain carving. It contains many more Native American artifacts. It also hosts Native Americans from many tribes who create and sell their arts and crafts to visitors. That underscores that Native American culture is very much a living culture. The marketplace atmosphere gives an opportunity for one-on-one conversations between Native people and Crazy Horse visitors. That's another important part of the educational process at the memorial. Also on display is a bronze Crazy Horse. It's a cast from another of Korczak's scale models for the mountain. This one is a 1/300th scale model from the Tennessee marble original. Exhibits in the lower level of the Cultural Center include many more artifacts. Some are displayed on a natural quartz ridge. It forms one wall of this unusual rock building. There also are more than 100 prints by the famed photographer Edward Curtis. At the turn of the century, he was the preeminent photographer of Native American life. The Curtis photos are a fine example of something very special given to the memorial so the gift can be shared with the public. The nonprofit memorial welcomes artifacts, art, books, and other items that relate to Native American culture and heritage. Korczak's workshop also is open to visitors. On display is an original Concord stagecoach made in the 1860s. It reflects the sculptor's great love of history. It's part of the memorial's early Americana collection. The adjacent bronze gallery displays many works of fine art, including several bronzes by Korczak, which are available. They include the Fighting Stallions and this famous bronze of Paderewski. Korczak's marble original won first prize by popular vote at the 1939 New York World's Fair. One of the Paderewski bronzes was presented to Pope John Paul II at the Vatican. The larger-than-life-size bronze of the Fighting Stallions is just outside the visitor complex. It's another popular photo op. A twin to this big bronze is on the State House grounds in Pierre, South Dakota. The dramatic bronze is an enlargement from the 18-inch original. The design is unusual. The two horses are balanced on the tail of just one of the horses. All 8 legs are out in space. Another extraordinary work gets lots of attention at Crazy Horse. It's the dazzling Black Hills Nature Gates. Designed by Korczak, the formal gates are 46 feet long and 24 feet high. The openings contain 270 brass silhouettes of birds, animals, and plants, all native to the Black Hills. The gates call attention to Native Americans' love and respect for nature. All of the brass silhouettes were drawn and hand-cut by Julkowski sons and daughters. The gates are a magnet for young visitors who often make a game of trying to name all of the plants and animals sparkling in brass. Korczak and others refer to Crazy Horse Memorial as a living symbol. It grows and evolves with the generations. Many visitors return year after year, generation after generation, to see the progress on the mountain and the growth of the visitor complex. In a very special sense, visitors become participants in that progress and become part of the exciting history in the making at Crazy Horse Memorial, a mountain carving, and much more.